Editing. The art, technique and practice of assembling shots in a sequence. The role of an editor is to mechanically put pieces of film together, cut film slates or edit dialogue scenes. The history of editing. In 1895, the Lumiere brothers invented cinematography. This was a device that recorded, captured and projected motion picture. However, even though it was the Lumiere brothers that had the great invention, it was Edwin Porter that came along in 1901 and showed that film didn't have to be one long piece of footage. He used footage to tell a different story, unrelated to what the footage originally was meant to portray. It was D.W. Griffiths that realised emotions could also be portrayed through different camera angles and pace of editing. It wasn't all down to the actors. Editing has allowed films nowadays to grow and become more interesting for audience through aspects such as camera angles, narrative, actors, and many more. The use of digital editing and technology has allowed editing techniques to progress and develop. The average film originally has 200 hours and is then condensed into 2 hours worth of footage due to editing. Techniques and styles. Over the years, more techniques and styles have come into editing. Here are a few. Order of shots. Whilst editing, the order of shots are placed in can show a lot about a scene. It can change the meaning depending on which shot follows another. Putting two shots together can suggest a connection between characters, emotions, or actions, as well as even showing a contrast between these things. The order of shots can also show who motivates the edit. In the movie Taxi Driver, we can see that even though the manager is talking, the camera is still on the other man, showing his dominance in this film.
So what do you want to hack for, Bickle?
I can't sleep nights.
There's porn out there just for that.
Yeah, I know, I tried that.
As the scene is at the beginning of the film, it suggests his leading role in the film to come. The screen time of actors tells us which characters are more important. Linear narrative. Continuity editing is the cutting of shots to tell a story with a narrative continuity. It tells a story in a linear form passing through time in order. The flow is smooth from shot to shot and creates realism in the film. The edits that are used are somewhat invisible, making the film seem more realistic. In some way, the audience forget they are even watching a film. Establishing shots. Establishing shots also play a part in the continuity of a film. By setting the scene at the beginning of a sequence, the audience are clear where the events are occurring. Establishing shots can also be used in the middle of a film to set a new scene, for example, in a different country. However, in a narrative film, time has not gone backwards, it has only gone forwards. The 180-degree rule. The 180-degree rule also creates a realism effect. This is the ideology that the camera should only be kept on one side of a character. As we can see here in Ted, the camera is always on one side of the sofa. If the rule is broken, the audience can become confused and lose focus on the scene. It becomes disorientated and the audience may lose vital parts of the film. Shot reverse shot. Shot reverse shot is often used in a dialogue between two characters standing opposite each other or at an object. A shot showing what the character is supposedly looking at is followed by a reverse angle shot of the character looking at it or the character looking at them.
So you never wanted a normal type life?
The hell is that? Takeaways and going down the pub?
Shot reverse shot often ties in with the 180-degree rule to retain continuity. It does this by not distorting the audience's sense of location with the characters in the shots. Eyeline match. Eyeline match can also be used within a shot reverse shot scene, but is often seen by itself. The camera shows the character looking at an object and then cuts to a direct eyeline match of what the character is seeing. In some cases, the shot then reverts back to the character and their expression or reaction.
There's one, set for stun.
Match on action. Match on action is also a form of continuity editing that helps the footage of a scene flow smoothly. When a character is performing an action, midway the shot cuts to either a closer image or a further away image of the shot they are doing. It creates the impression of a sense of continuity. The action carrying through creates a visual bridge which draws the viewer's attention away from the slight cutting. It helps to create a smooth scene and helps with the realism of the film. Here in the film Bringing Up Baby, we can see the actress lighting the match. As she brings it up towards her face, the camera cuts to a different angle. On the other hand, there is non-continuity editing. A film that starts at the end of a story and then cuts back to the beginning would be a form of non-continuity. The story is not in order and shots are edited to show this. Parallel cutting. Parallel cutting can also be seen as a type of non-continuity editing. This is when two different stories are taking place from different time periods. The film jumps from story to story. An example would be the film Inception. At the same time as the car chase, the film switches to shots of Arthur in the hotel room. This is an interesting form of editing that keeps the audience intrigued and hooked on the film. In this case, it allows directors and producers to explore the contrasting characters and create suspense. Juxtaposition. Juxtaposition is the arrangement of two opposing ideas, characters, or objects side by side or in similar narratives for effect. For example, Kuleshov put 3 different objects in a sequence, each followed by the same actor with the same expression. The first face was followed by a shot of a woman holding a baby, then back to his face smiling. The shot then went back to his still face, followed by a woman in a bikini. The idea was that each time the audience saw the expression, they got a different feeling and emotion, because of the previous object. Even though the expression was exactly the same each time, it showed that the order of shots and editing can help portray different emotions. It's not all down to the actors. Montage. Montage is when an editor takes multiple shots from different time periods that aren't necessarily connected and put them together in a sequence. This is also known as non-linear montage. This can be used in shots such as flashbacks or to reflect on a series of memories. In Shaun of the Dead, it allows the directors to show a future event in a short period of time.
Right. We take Pete's car, we drive over to Mum's, we go in, take care of Philip. I'm so sorry, Philip. Then we grab Mum.
Linear montage. Linear montage can also be used to condense a period of time into a smaller timescale. For example, in the movie Up, Carl and Ellie's relationship over a large number of years was condensed into 5 minutes worth of footage. Montage helps an editor tell a long story in a short period of time whilst keeping the audience interested. Transitions. Transitions are used in the editing to change shots and create different effects. The cut. The cut is the most common type of video transition. It simply means replacing one shot instantly with the next. This is often seen in fast-moving scenes such as car chases. By using a single fast cut, it creates a fast-moving pace that can keep the audience on edge. Fade to black is a transition that fades from one shot into a black screen and then sometimes into a following shot. Fade to black can be used to end a time period, location, or scene. It shows that the sequence is ending. Fading to black can also be used in the middle of a movie to represent a time jump. Here in the opening credits of Skyfall, fade to black is used between shots to create a dramatic effect and build up the atmosphere for the movie to come. Lastly, we have the wipe. This is a very dated form of transition that is not often adopted in modern filmmaking. The shot is simply wiped from the screen to reveal the next shot in a variety of creative ways. This technique can be seen in comedic films and has a light and funky effect, as well as more serious films like the Star Wars movies that include these transitions a lot. So why do we edit? Editing can be used to aid the smooth flow of a narrative. It allows us to tell a story in a shorter period of time by managing the time frame. This can be speeding up or slowing down different sequences. Editing also allows us to get an emotional response from the audience. For example, tension in slow, long scenes like horror movies, or excitement and thrill from a fast-moving car chase. Through editing, we can keep the audience interested and portray what the director and producer want us to see. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video.